Hey everybody, so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be tackling lesson 10. We're getting there. We're going to try to get up to lesson 12. Honors is going to go just a little bit further. But what's going to happen is we're looking at unit 6, lesson 10. The last lesson that I just gave you guys was on graphs of sine and cosine. We've been working with the unit circle. First off, we know that on our unit circle, just a big recap, we know that in our unit circle that the distance from here to here is going to be 1, and the radius of this will be 1 regardless of where you're at. What we also talked about is what each of the pieces of this unit circle are going to mean. Specifically, if you have a coordinate here, x, y, what we've discovered is that this is going to be your cosine of angle theta, which is the angle that's formed between the x-axis. And then we have cosine and sine of theta for our y values. And those are essentially going to be your x and y's for that. So with this, what we're doing is we're going to go through and we're going to be working through a couple of problems. And then what's going to happen is you guys are going to do a couple of problems. Then we're going to come back, go over it. Then we're going to go to section 2, and then it's going to work that same way. So what we're going to be doing here is here's a unit circle with this point A. This point A is marked at 1, 0, and that's right here. Okay. For each angle of rotation, listed here, mark the new location of A on the unit circle. Be prepared to explain why or why not. Okay, so for the first couple, we're just going to go ahead and kind of reason through it. We know that this first point is going to be an angle of 0. Then this is going to be at pi over 2. This is going to be at pi. This is going to be 3 pi over 2. Then it's going to be 2 pi. And then, if we keep going, we're going to see that we can keep adding more and more to this. It's just going to keep going around in a circle and in another circle until we actually get to our measurement. So, with that, what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 and 3 together. And you guys are going to do 2, 4, and 5 on your own. So the first one, pi over 3. The things that we do know a few things. Specifically, we know that half of pi over 2, we know half of pi over 2 is pi over 4. So we know this is going to be pi over 4. And that these are going to be our fourths. This is right here, we're adding pi over 4, pi over 4, one more pi over 4. That means we're going to have 1, 2, 3 pi over 4. Okay, if we add another one, we'd get 4 pi over 4. And so on and so forth. So we're going to be able to find exactly where we're at using these means by just using that same idea. Now here's the thing. If we're looking at this, the first one that we have is going to be pi over 3. So if we're talking about pi over 3, what we need to figure out is pi over 3 bigger than pi over 4? So let's think about it. This one is pi divided by 3. This one's pi divided by 4. So in this case, this is divided by a bigger number, and this is divided by a smaller number. So if we think about it, we can start to break this thing up. Instead of into fourths, thirds are going to be slightly larger. So this is going to be our pi over 3. This is going to be our pi over 3. Then we're going to go a little further, and once again, from here to here, it's going to be pi, so this is 1/3 of this section here. So we're also going to have 2 pi over 3. And then we're going to have 3 pi over 3, which is just going to give us pi. So when we're thinking about this, where is pi over 3 located at? Pi over 3 is going to be located right here. That's going to be B. Okay. For the next set, when we're taking a look at it, we're going to be looking at 7 pi over 4. So it's going to help that we just talked about pi over 4. So this was 1, 2, 3. This is 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4. So if you just keep continuing to break it up in that same sort of fashion, this right here, this angle is going to be 7 pi over 4. Or we can label it as D. Okay. What I'd like you guys to do is please go ahead and do the same exact thing, but with 2, 4, and 5 on the next few questions. Thank you very much.